1948, USA. A young guy named Sal Paradise walks along a country road in worn-out sandals. He hitchhikes without money, but with the goal of getting to Denver. Sal considers himself an adventurer. He does not know what will happen tomorrow, and this does not upset him at all. Sal recalls the circumstances that led him to this life. 5 months earlier, Sal's father dies and he falls into a terrible depression. Sal wants to become a writer and has been looking for inspiration for a long time, but every time he throws away the paper with the first lines. He goes to a bar with his friend, aspiring poet Carlo, to distract himself and lift his spirits. There they meet an acquaintance who suggests that together they visit a certain Dean Moriarty, a famous car enthusiast in certain circles, who has about 500 stolen cars to his name. Sal has been hearing stories about Dean for a long time, and until now he considered him a fiction. Dean was recently released from prison and immediately married 16-year-old Marilou, with whom he lives nearby. Dean invites guests to his house to smoke and have fun. There, Sal meets Marilou, whom he considers an unusual girl, because at 16 she already knows how to roll a joint. Dean is a bright and positive young guy who easily helps Sal take his mind off his depressive thoughts. The guys talk all night and the next morning Sal is sure that he has found a new friend. Dean works as a parking attendant and rarely steals new cars. Friends spend more and more time together, visiting bars and music clubs, where the kinship of interests between Sal and Dean only strengthens. Dean never invites Marilou to go to bars with them and pays less and less attention to her. Eventually she gets offended and leaves Dean. Sal realizes that he is drawn to madmen like Dean, who want to live, talk, never know peace, because this creates unforgettable stories that could form the basis of a future book. Wherever he and his friend are, Sal does not forget to write down interesting events in his pocket notebook, which he never leaves. Sal writes the first page in which he talks about meeting Dean and their strong friendship together. Later, Dean leaves for Denver, and that evening Sal's sadness returns again. He rereads the first page and throws it away, returning to his depressive thoughts. One day, Sal receives a letter from a friend, where Dean calls him brother, writes that he misses him and invites to visit him in Denver. Sal considers himself almost a writer, eager to experience life, so he happily packs his things and hits the road. From this moment on, Sal's life turns into one continuous road adventure, because he has to hitchhike to get to Denver, and he spends the night wherever he can. Sal crosses several states and, after traveling almost 3,000 kilometers, arrives in Denver. He arrives at the address indicated in the letter and meets Dean. Full of joy from this event, Sal meets Dean's new girlfriend, Camille. Dean wants to show Sal around Denver, so he immediately offers to visit the interesting places here. Dean doesn't invite Camilla, and she doesn't want to impose. Sal jokingly asks if there are any girls left in Denver that Dean hasn't slept with yet. And then Dean invites his guest to go see one girlfriend. At her home, Dean takes illegal substances, and Sal joins this process, experiencing new horizons and hallucinations. Later, Sal communicates with Carlo, but in private, because Dean did not waste time and took his girlfriend into the bedroom. Carlo is jokingly and loudly indignant that Dean has again taken all the female attention, when suddenly the bedroom door opens. A naked Dean comes out and drags Carlo into the bedroom to continue the private party for the three of them. Later, the three brothers spend the evening with Camille at a bar, and Sal learns how highly spiritual and educated she is, which sets her apart from Marilou. After the bar, Dean leaves with Camilla, and Carlo reads Sal his poems about passion and love, although he dedicates them to Dean. Sal realizes that his own admiration for Dean is also great, but does not border on the obsession that Carlo is full of. After some time, Sal leaves Denver because he wants to visit several more states before the end of winter. One day, Sal meets a girl who works on a cotton plantation. Over the next few months, he works in the fields with her, and their acquaintance develops into a relationship. But winter is coming, so Sal leaves and promises to meet the girl in New York, although he understands that she will never come there. Sal returns to his home, where he writes a book for the next year, but lost inspiration, terrible boredom, and a lack of new stories from his notebook prevent him from finishing it. At Christmas, Dean comes to see Sal in his own car. Camille gave birth to his child, and now Dean is divorced from Marilou, which does not stop her from sleeping in his car. Dean asks for an overnight stay, and Sal invites guests to the house, where a festive table is set. Dean is inspired by such hospitality and dinner, so as a thanks he offers to take Sal and his mother to New York for free. And they agree. In the morning, the company sets out and the car drives at top speed. Because Dean is an excellent driver who does not care about winter, snowy roads and poor visibility, they are stopped for speeding by a policeman, to whom Sal's mother gives a bribe, and Dean promises to reimburse all expenses. He has no money, so Dean fills up the fuel by tricking the gas station meters. He sometimes calls Camilla and promises to return soon. But she does not understand even why did he left. Sal, Marilou and Dean continue to spend their evenings together, visiting bars and dance clubs. One day, Dean proposes a threesome to make Sal realize how unique Marilou is, and he agrees. Later, Dean invites Marilou to become his mistress, without Camille's knowledge. If he moved Marilou to live near Camille's apartment in San Francisco, he could live two lives as before. Marilou is not happy about this offer, but she agrees. Dean continues to spend money only on illegal substances, so food quickly runs out. To continue his road adventure, Sal gives his father's pocket watch to a pawn shop, for which he receives only a few dollars. When this money runs out, the trio steals food from roadside stores and gas stations. One day, Dean suggests adding a new fun activity to the daily commute, and Sal and Marilou readily support this idea. The guys take off their clothes and sit a naked Marilou in the middle. As Dean continues to drive, Marilou caresses both brothers with her hands at the same time, and together they laugh at the shocked drivers in the oncoming lane. Sometimes they take travel companions to earn a little extra money for substances. The trio arrives in San Francisco, and the guys notice a sharp deterioration in Marilou's mood, because this is the last stop and the road adventure is over, as well as her unhindered relationship with Dean. He says goodbye to Sal and Marilou because he needs to return to Camilla. Marilou is filled with anger and insults Dean, calling him a scoundrel and a scumbag who lied to her about changing his life. As Dean leaves, Marilou tells Sal to think about it and realize in time how despicable a person Dean is. Marilou, with the help of cunning and seduction, checks into a motel for free, where she experiences intimacy with Sal. In the morning, he reads the note that Marilou left when leaving the motel. She returns to her native Denver because her fiancé has been waiting for her all this time, and she no longer has the patience to wait for anything from Dean. Marilou thanks Sal for a wonderful night and wishes him luck with his future book. Sal is left without money and ideas, and the hope for help from Dean is fading every day because he do not come. At first, Sal searches trash cans and collects cigarette butts in order to somehow survive. When he gets tired of this, Sal gets a job as a loader on the railroad and soon improves his financial situation. But he is unable to finish the book. A month later, Sal finds Camille's address in an old letter and comes to visit Dean. As always, he is extremely happy to see his brother Sal again. Dean will soon become a father again, but he doesn't care much even about his first child. And Camilla looks pale and depressed. Dean decides to celebrate at a nearby bar, so he invites Camille to join. This looks like a mockery, because Camilla is pregnant. She tells the departing Dean that his offer did not make her feel any better, and then cries because Dean doesn't care about her or the children. In the morning, the cheerful brothers noisily return from the club, wake up the child, and Camilla's patience comes to an end. She kicks the selfish Dean out of her apartment and life, and asks not to return to her again, because Camilla is full of confidence that it will be much easier for her to cope alone. The brothers hitch a ride to New York, because Dean broke his car so much that he was forced to abandon it in the middle of the street. Sal understands that he will not stay in New York for long, and considers the best decision to go south to Mexico, because he has not been there yet. At the last minute, Dean joins Sal, not wanting to stay in New York without his brother. Together, they arrive in a small Mexican town, where Dean first asks what substances can be bought here. Locals sell the brothers strong tobacco, which causes strong hallucinations and euphoria. Sal and Dean find a brothel, where they plunge into a whirlpool of fun and debauchery, simultaneously increasing the dose. At night, Sal has a nightmare where his late father condemns him, and then, with pity in their eyes, Camille, Marilou, and the girl from the cotton plantation look at him. He is brought to final horror by Dean, who wants to kiss Sal. He wakes up in a cold sweat. He is pale, powerless, and with bloodshot eyes. He can't even move his hand and feels helpless when Dean suddenly appears and says that Camille has filed for divorce. So he urgently needs to return to San Francisco and sort out his problems first. Dean takes the car keys and the last few dollars from Sal's wallet, leaving him to suffer from dysentery alone. Dean leaves, and Sal is disappointed because he has become another victim of a selfish person. Watching Dean's attitude towards Marilou and Camille, Sal had no idea that he would be next. Sal manages to recover and survive, then returns to his home. Over the next 2 years, Sal works and builds a career, so his appearance ceases to look like a young homeless adventurer. One day in New York, Sal and his girlfriend get into the car to go to a concert when suddenly he hears a familiar voice. It's Dean, shivering from the cold, who admits that he rode the train for 5 days, kicked his ass off, all in order to find his brother, but Sal doesn't believe it. Dean promises to explain everything about Mexico. But Sal no longer needs excuses and says goodbye to his former friend. Dean asks to at least go for a ride with Sal, but is refused here too. It was this last meeting that Sal needed so much to finish the book, because this completion of the relationship is the last missing puzzle that makes this story fair and instructive. Sal leaves, and Dean is left in the middle of the street, alone with his life. After the concert, Sal returns home and ends the book with thoughts about Dean Moriarty. According to Sal, Dean personifies the hopelessness and abyss of despair that anyone can face if they do not think about the consequences of their actions.